Are we live? Are we live?
We are.
This is this
I
is
think
new.
so.
This
I mean,
isn't you're not the usual suspect. I think it's an improvement. Good morning. You
oh,
no,
shots fired towards John.
good morning to another wake up and deliver. Uh, as always, we're live Monday morning, but this week without John because he's in Portugal. But we've upgraded to Kat Wnek from Monarch Connect. As you can tell, we're both kind of wearing our swag.
We
Um,
did
what
not call each other beforehand.
No, we did not. She's enjoying the nice background. Looks like the cottage life on a Monday morning. And I am actually, I could show you some sailboats in the background here. I'm in a Toronto harbor in downtown Toronto, so it's a very unique experience this morning. Yeah. Are you ready for some reactions to some famous Matt Coffee quotes?
Yes, hit me.
We're gonna hit you with the
Hit me.
first one. I think it's a good one. Intelligence is the new currency, and most people are broke.
I feel like I need to censor myself a little bit because it's not going to end well, but 100% agree. And I think I need to leave it at that.
Well, we're going to do it a little bit different this morning. I think we're going to talk not so much as like we usually do with John, but we're going to diversify, get into the sales and the customer's experience, and lean on Kat's expertise
Hold
on
on
this
a
one
second.
versus.
What were your thoughts on that quote?
Oh, I mean, that's been the truth forever. I mean, people have always been lacking some sort of intelligence at one point or another, and I think it's just becoming more apparent nowadays with social media and everything that we do in society. So
Yeah.
I think it kind of works on that way. But now it's a currency, which is more interesting because people are plugging it into the AI and getting a mere image of what intelligence is. And sometimes we question if it's the right thing.
Right.
I find it very interesting. Yeah. But Kat, in all fashion, had a quote herself.
I
She wanted to
did.
bring out and wanted to chat about it. So I'm going to bring that up. And hopefully I got the right one. It's going to spin off into our bit of our topic today, which is the experience customers facing nowadays.
Yeah.
So take it
And
away. I leave it to you.
so true customer loyalty isn't built on friendly phone calls asking for updates. It's built on never needing to call in the first place. Yes. I mean, obviously, you need to speak to your customers and just touch base and have that type of relationship. But I think that the second that your customers or people that you're dealing with on a regular basis keep calling you constantly to get updates, um, because they first, I mean, they're calling you because they aren't getting any, which I think is an issue, right? But I'm not saying not to ever call your customers, just to catch up and give, just a heads up or have a conversation. But I think that the second that the customer calls and starts asking for update, that's where you're probably going to run into some negative conversations.
I think the old way, I wouldn't even call it the old way, a few years in the past, the way of people selling logistics was here's my link, here, Mr. Customer, you can access all your information.
Yeah.
You don't need to bother me or call me. And I don't think that's resonating with customers anymore. I think they want more of a personal touch. They don't want to feel automated. They want to make sure that someone is actually paying attention to what they're doing in the system. Yeah, there has to be an element of automation, help efficiency, but
Yeah.
it can't just be, I don't know, let me look. Like you have to have a good pulse on what's happening. And I think you're seeing a lot of those conversations when you're talking to people, right? Like you're hearing a lot of
Oh,
people being like, yeah,
absolutely.
I'd love to have visibility.
I mean, the link that, like, let's say for tracking links, for example, I mean, that is just to help facilitate that, right? So they don't have to take the time and look for a phone number, look for dispatch, try to get somebody on the line, right? That's an easy access. They need to know something quickly. Where's the truck? They click on the link and there it is, right? So I think that is just more of a time saver, more so than just avoiding the whole calling thing altogether. Because I'm a caller. I think people know this already because I keep mentioning it on every conversation, even last lives that I did. I'm old school. I'm a caller. I love to have a phone conversation with people. And you know what? That always keeps that human contact as well. I don't want to just send. I mean, of course, we send links and stuff, but I don't want to just leave it at that and then just disappear, right?
Yeah, the link is like a trust builder, like to verify that what you're saying is true. And once people have that warm and fuzzy, you can have that further conversation.
Yeah.
But how do you even get to them? How do you even get people on the phone nowadays? Is I guess the biggest question. I know even me when I'm trying to call carriers, sometimes or operationally calling vendors and everything. It's sometimes hard to get someone on the phone.
Yeah.
You email them, they'll reply within 3 seconds. You call them, they don't answer the phone. And I think it's counterintuitive in the environment that we are in, but it's definitely being challenged by a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we run into that more so. Well, I mean, I'm speaking for you, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's more of a carrier interaction rather than me calling customers. I get a lot of people on the phone, but it's a completely different aspect of the industry, right? So, I mean, and granted, if we're already in business together and they see my phone number pop up, they probably know that I'm calling them about a load that we're currently doing, and I
Yeah.
would need more information. And even if they don't pick up their phone right away, they see that they got a missed call from me. They'll always call me back within a reasonable amount of time.
Well, I guess we can take a step back. How about when you're calling a new customer? It's sometimes hard to get them, a little bit harder to get them on the phone. That's sometimes
Yeah.
like a first carrier piece as well, right?
I mean, yeah, if it's a completely new customer, we've never spoken on the phone before, then yes, of course, it is a little bit more challenging to get somebody on the phone, simply because they automatically assume that if they don't recognize the number, they automatically assume that it's probably another transportation company calling me to ask for my business, right? Which is mostly the case, and I think I had mentioned that last time I was on that. I got somebody on the phone and they were like, okay, here we go. Like, you're literally my ninth caller today, right? So yeah, so it is more tricky when you're talking to somebody completely new on the phone, to get them, and don't even bother leaving voicemails to say that you're calling from a transportation company.
Because it's definitely a week of chaos right now because of
Yeah.
tariffs being announced and everything that's going on in the marketplace. You don't know what's up and what's down. Are you finding that when we're talking to customers, is it resonating? Are they having challenges? Are they looking for different solutions? Or are they just trying to weather this storm and figure out how to weather the storm? Like,
They're
what's the
trying to.
customer feedback you're getting?
Right. So I actually had a conversation early on, when the whole tariff thing started, maybe a couple months ago or something, and I had somebody on the phone. They were all set with carriers and all that, but I was genuinely interested in having a conversation with them about tariffs and how that would affect them, and I did ask that question. If they're not interested in carrier onboarding at the moment because of tariffs, is that affecting them? And they weren't sure of what their needs are going to be based on tariffs. And a lot of people were saying that they kind of need to assess the situation and they can't onboard right now because they were already all set with what they needed and they just didn't want to take that risk into onboarding more carriers simply because they didn't know how much freight they would have or if their business was coming to a complete halt, right?
So in times, right? Like nobody knows how to react to something that is not
Yeah,
historically sound. They can't pull up a spreadsheet, be like,
exactly.
yeah, we encountered this in the past, and this is what we should do. they really need to really rethink it because their whole system might be. And I know, some of our customers, they went from, being very heavy cross-border to being less so and more domestic, or even looking for partners maybe outside of Canada and United States and seeing is there opportunities internationally where traditionally they would have never looked that way.
Yeah, or it could go completely the other way, where when I mean, there were incidents where it was just moving freight in masses, right? Because they needed to move around inventory from warehouse to warehouse to make room for more, and then there was more cross border available. But then you realize that all of that wasn't actually needed because there were more changes in tariffs, right? So I think people reacted prematurely. Um, but I mean, with reason, because they had no idea what was going to happen, right?
Yeah, that pre-tariff rush that happened the last time because people were unsure.
Yeah,
They're trying to get everything out the boat across the border, get it across deadlines because the next morning you could be facing up to 100, $200,000 worth of fines. Depends on the quality, the value of your product and what product it is.
right.
And it wasn't just across the border; it was also off containers, off of free trade zones
Yeah,
and different places. And it wasn't mad rush. It was fun from an
it
operational
was.
standpoint because you're trying to solve these things. But I know from a customer standpoint, it becomes far more stressful during that time period, and they really want to rely on their partners to make sure they're
Yeah.
executing at the
So
level
so
they're
during
expecting to.
that time, my phone was ringing off the hook. See, it was like there was a short window of opportunity to talk to new people. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else is happening from a sales customer service perspective, from a customer perspective that you're seeing that you find interesting that wasn't true a year ago when we were building Monarch Connect that you've changed the dialogue this year?
You know what? A couple things actually. I love this question. So back then, back then, I mean, it's still fresh, but still, there was quite a significant change from when we first started until today. And I noticed that at the very beginning, a lot of people I had challenges with traceability and transparency when it came to loads. They never knew where their truck was, or they always had a hard time getting answers from people whether the truck is on time or late or whatever, just updates in general. And so when uh, I was talking to new customers, they were very happy with like tracking links and in real time and all of that, having access to that. But today, when I talk to people, sure, they still care about the real time tracking and all of that, but they care more so about honesty and reliability. So that is really their focus today. That's what I'm finding in my conversations. Where
Why do you
when I
think that
tell
changed?
just because you know what, I think that people are noticing that again, I have to be careful with my wording here. People are noticing that I mean, look, it is what it is. Some companies do take freight just for that dollar, right? They want to make revenue. They take the load just to take the load, right? And whether the truck actually shows up on time or not, after that, they don't really care more after booking a load. And I think that a lot of shippers have noticed that, and a lot of customers have noticed that there's a lot of, yes, I could do it, but can you actually do it and do it the way that people are asking you? That this is important to them. There's a cutoff time, there's whatever, right? And they need to know that you will actually respect their instructions, and a lot of people don't. And I find that those conversations are coming up more and more these days.
I find that to be an awesome comment because that's how we get a lot of our more new customers because so now we've had an established brand for a little bit and customers are realizing the service and then they're recommending us to other people and that
Yeah,
conversation is really help helping move things forward in a proper way where like oh we didn't know people were capable of doing this when they were a non-asset, right? and
right.
and that blur of that line is really for the longest time, there was a very big divide operationally between an asset and non-asset and the visibility you could provide. And I think a lot of people, not just us, have helped minimize that blur. It made it more seamless for a lot of people where, uh, you know, assets are, needed, but people like 3PLs and logistics architects, like we like to call ourselves,
Yeah,
are just
I
as
I
much needed because
I started, sorry to cut you off, but you just made a good point on the assets too. That's another conversation that I'm having with people because of that reliability issue. I think a lot of people are starting to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should go with asset-based transportation companies. And it it kind of makes me chuckle because it doesn't matter whether I'm asset-based or a broker. It's really the person that you're doing business with that matters. Whether I have assets or not, if I'm honest and I'm telling you that I could do it and I stand by my word, then that's all that should matter. It doesn't matter if I have 100 trucks or none, right? It's
yeah,
how I'm actually operating that should be the most important part.
as if you have 100 trucks, but you can't deliver on your promises, what's the point of having 100 trucks, right?
Exactly, exactly. But I think it gives people that comfort when you tell them, "Oh yeah, I have assets," right? They're like, "Oh, okay, well, they have their shit together." Pardon my expression, but it's not necessarily true. I mean, look at how many asset-based companies that we're familiar with are don't actually care and don't actually follow through, right?
Yeah, and the nimbleness is also very good because sometimes when you have an asset there, it's a very rigid protocol that they have to follow because they have to manage certain things. And
Oh, sure,
I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
and then we are able to kind of do different things. I mean, I recall a few weeks ago we had a pickup at a location, and I think the reefer was rejected for whatever reason, had to go get cleaned, but we had other trucks there at the same time from different companies, and we were able to switch a whole bunch of different things
Yeah,
around without losing load and servicing that customer. That customer has turned around, been one of our loyal customers because they love that experience. They tell us you feel like an asset. You don't feel like a
yeah.
broker that's just like, hey, sorry, it's not my problem. It is seamless between the trucks that you use and the people that you're with because we build it on trust and kindness, and
Absolutely,
I
and
think it's the
issues
selling feature.
issues happen. I mean, you're dealing with everyday things, everyday challenges, whether mechanical issues, people issues. Things do happen. I'm not saying that we're 100% perfect. We're close, but there's always there are issues that arise. It's simply how you find solutions and how quickly you could find a solution. That's what really matters.
And I think, and I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. I think we don't shy away from those hard conversations when shit does hit the fan. We will pick up the phone and talk to you, even though we play
I'm
rock
the one
paper
that has
scissors.
to
Who
make
does it?
that call, okay? Don't we us on this one. It's me.
As the customer-facing representative. But how do you go about having those hard conversations? Like, how do you tell a customer that, unfortunately, because people do screw up, we screwed up on this time, whether it's
Sure.
something simple as a typo, or the driver slept in because he was overly exhausted, and it
Yeah.
happens, and or something that is it sucks, but it happens. How do you go about having those conversations?
Sometimes they're not easy, depending on the severity of the situation. Um, but I'm just honest. I'm just honest. I mean, I can't hide the situation. It happened and happened, and this is what happened. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not, and I think people appreciate that. It's like, listen, um, XYZ happened. But I immediately go and I try not to make the call without having a solution already. And I think that's the most important part is when I call with the issue, I say, we have a solution. This is a solution. I just need your permission. I need to let you know, or, but I always have problem first, solution right after, immediately after to kind of like smooth out you know, the situation. But the conversations aren't, I mean, sometimes people are like, okay, great. I appreciate you calling me. uh, thanks for giving me that information. Thank you for your honesty. And then that's it, done, right? Call is done and we move on.
Yeah,
And
like when you have
sometimes it's a little more heated. Not a lot though. Those are like the 1% calls. But I mean, it's never easy to tell a client that it's like, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, we failed you, but I can't always look at it that way. But that's how I feel. And I think that they sense that personal. So I have a mosquito, sorry. Um, distracted in nature. But I think that once somebody that I talk to has the knowledge that I genuinely care about what happened, and it's also affecting me as a person and as a business owner, then I think that becomes a lot more easy to have that person on person conversation.
now, I'll ask a very, I guess, unique question. In this environment, every customer is vital, but not every customer is a good customer. Do you think uh, it's a good time to hold on to quote unquote bad customers? And if it isn't, how do you go about that conversation, letting them know, hey, maybe we don't want to do business with you, even though we might quote unquote need that business right now, but doesn't fit
I'm so
into
sorry you
our
froze there
ethos.
for a second. I lost
Uh,
connection, but we're back online. Okay, sorry. So bad customer. Okay, can you define bad customer?
Yes, you missed the whole part. So you're talking to, you have a customer, and it's in this environment you can't really get rid of any customer because every customer is vital when you're in a volatile network where you don't know when you're coming from next, where you can get your next load. But you have a
Yeah.
customer that is just rigid, not willing to work with you. They're providing incorrect information. They're not paying on time. They're just not what you call a good customer, not one that you feel that you want to give your 100% heart behind. Um, and they're not providing the support in your network. Do you feel that in this environment you should hold on to them, hoping to get through these times? Or do you have hard conversations with them, be like, hey, maybe we aren't the best fit?
I would definitely address, I mean, sure, it happens. It just happened the other day. Somebody sent me the wrong appointment time, right? And those are like easy fixes, quick fixes, happens once in a while. Everybody's busy. Some people miss some information, which is fine. It happens. But if it's reoccurring and constant, where I'm constantly provided the wrong information, and you know this from coming from the ops side, that it does affect operations severely, right? If I'm giving you the wrong pickup time, wrong pickup date, wrong appointment, everything is just completely upside down, then of course that's going to impact our business, right? And if it's once or twice, sure, we'll manage. But if it's constant and it's affecting our business, then yes, I will have that conversation and say either, we can't work like this, or what can we do to help you give us proper information and to help me help you, essentially, right? Like, first of all, I'll have that conversation where it's like, what can we do? Um, yeah.
I think we went a little bit longer than I thought on this subject, but it's good. But I'm going to segue this and we'll get you a little bit in because I know you wanted to talk more about it because it's leading into it. Getting not paid by a customer can be a real big problem. And we recently saw Uber Freight having a bit of a challenge when one of
Mm,
their larger customers went under. Like,
$9 million. Yeah.
how do you keep an eye on your customer and their payment schedule to make sure that you're executing at the level, but they're holding their end of the promise? And how much leeway do you give them? And how do you stop yourself
Listen, if
from
somebody would owe
getting
me
caught?
$9 million, I think I would go about it a completely different way. However, if it's like, if payment terms of, let's say, 30 days or 60 days or whatever, something along those lines, and their time, like, and they either don't pay their invoices or they're extremely behind, then yeah, of course I'm going to call them. Absolutely. And I will have that conversation because it's like, listen, we gave you the service that you asked for, um, and now it's time to get paid for that service, right? And I sometimes I think that it's not fair, and companies get taken for granted, right? There, everybody automatically assumes that, oh, it's fine, they could wait another 30 days. But without having that conversation, if somebody has a problem with cash flow and that's the reason why they can't send a check or make a payment, then I would appreciate that person actually being honest about it and telling me, like, hey, can we hold off for another 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Sure, no problem. But ignoring the subject, ignoring the matter, um, and not answering calls and emails after that, that's what I have an issue with. Just because we're so honest with everybody all the time, I 100% expect that type of transparency from customers as well.
Yeah, but it's a fear-driven thing. They're afraid that if they tell you, you might not give them the next truck until
Sure, and I'm afraid of
you pull.
calling a huge customer, telling him that I have a breakdown, a mechanical breakdown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's same. There's always a hard conversation to be had, and they have to happen, right? Like, put on your big boy pants and make the call. You just have to. I don't avoid making having hard conversations with customers, and I don't think it should be avoided. I think that the relationship should be strong enough that those calls should be easy to make without fearing that the other person would be angry or, have a very negative reaction. And that
We're
comes
down
from
to
relationships as well.
we're down to the last 2 minutes.
Oh no.
Usually, John likes to give the final thoughts for the week. You know what to look out for the week. So I'll leave that to you, Kat. What do you want to relay to everybody to kind of be
I'm
paying attention
gonna
to this?
I'm gonna do the Zen me enjoy. Take the time to do this. Exactly where I am. I'm not sure. Just relax. Everything's gonna be okay. I think it's the
Those
cottage
are,
speaking.
those are wise words in these stressful times, that's for sure. A lot of people,
Yeah,
under a lot of pressure. You do need to take a few deep breaths sometimes, realign yourself, and if you're not solving that problem right now, take a moment, hug a tree in the metaphorical sense, and maybe you'll see it from a different light, or reach out to someone else and problem solve and brainstorm. And worst case scenario, there's always ChatGPT you can always talk to nowadays, and it
that's
might give you
right.
some hallucinations, but
There's
it'll get
always
you somewhere.
AI to assist you.
But on that note, we are at time, and we always try to be respectful of your time. Oh, we got John saying good morning.
What's John saying?
John,
Oh,
good
John.
morning
Hi,
from
John.
uh, from Winnipeg. Uh, as always, you come join us next week. Same time, same channel, same everything. I'm not sure if it's gonna be Cat back. I'm not sure when John's coming back, but we always have Cat ready on standby to help
I could come back if you
supplement
guys
either.
want to. Let's make a vote.
Who's raising their hands? Oh, look, we're having problems with the internet. We're cutting out. More than happy to have Cat back. Oh, I think she froze legitimately this
I
time.
did. I did. I'm
That's
back.
even funny.
What's happening?
Oh, because you said we were gonna vote, and I pretend like we froze, but you actually froze. So
That's funny.
that
Yeah,
makes
my
more.
internet cut off. That's hilarious.
But on that note, we might just have Cat back with me and John. If John's back, if not, it'll be me and Cat. But always we'll have someone here to have a
Thank you for
conversation with you.
having me.
As always, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.